He was avoiding waste. That is not wrong, but he missed the second half of the equation. He never learned that money has to be put to work, and that is why he got stuck. Alex understood something earlier. He understood that saving money is how you keep money, but investing money is how you grow it. That is the real lesson. Not just earn, not just save. Grow. Build assets. Let time help you. Use compounding. Stop relying only on effort, because effort alone has a ceiling. Money that works for you does not. So here is the question. How much of your money is sitting safely but uselessly? How much of it is being protected but not growing? And how long are you willing to let inflation quietly steal from you while you call it being responsible? The question is not whether saving is good. The question is whether saving is enough. It is not. Not if you want freedom, not if you want real wealth, not if you want money that gives you options. Saving protects you, investing changes your life, and the people who understand that early win. Because in the end, you do not build a tree by keeping a seed in a jar. You plant it, you give it time, you let it grow, and that is how money works too. Person B invests the same $500 every month into a broad market index fund and stays consistent. Same income, same discipline, same monthly amount. But after a long period of time, the results are not even close. Person A has a decent pile of money. Person B has serious wealth. That is not magic. That is math. And most people hate math when it tells them the truth. Now let's go deeper. Why do people keep saving instead of investing? Why do they stay in the comfort zone even when they know in their head that investing works better? Because humans are emotional. That is the real answer. We like certainty. We like seeing a number in our account and feeling safe. Savings feels safe because it does not move around much. It is stable. It is predictable. It feels under control. Investing feels uncomfortable. The market goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up again. 1 month, you feel good. Another month, you panic. Even when you know you should stay calm, your brain does not like losses. This is called loss aversion, and loss aversion is brutal. Losing money hurts more than gaining money feels good. That is just how humans are wired. If someone gives you $100, you feel happy. If someone takes away $100, you feel much worse than the happiness you got from earning it. That is why so many people avoid investing, not because they are dumb, not because they are lazy, because their brain wants safety more than growth. But safety without growth is a trap, because while you are avoiding short-term discomfort, inflation is quietly eating your long-term future. That is the crazy part. People are scared of market dips, but they are not scared of the fact that their money loses value every year in a savings account. They fear volatility, but they ignore erosion. And erosion is slower, which makes it more dangerous. A sudden drop gets your attention. A slow leak destroys you. That is what happens to people who only save. They feel responsible. They feel disciplined. They feel smarter than everyone else because they are not gambling. But the truth is, they are not building wealth either. They are just protecting cash. Now let me make this practical. What should you actually do? First, you absolutely need an emergency fund. That is non-negotiable. You need cash for unexpected problems, job loss, medical bills, car repairs, family emergencies. That money should stay liquid, easy to access, safe, available. A good target is 3 to 6 months of expenses. That is your safety net. That is your base. But once that is built, you should not keep stacking cash forever, because cash is not meant to be your wealth engine. Cash is meant to protect you. Investments are meant to grow you. Second, You do not need to be a finance expert to invest. That excuse keeps millions of people stuck. They think investing means watching charts all day. They think it means timing the market. They think it means choosing the perfect stock. No, for most people, the simple route is better. Broad index funds, low fees, long-term thinking, consistency. That is enough. You do not need to become a Wall Street genius. You need to stop sitting on the sidelines. Third, start early. This matters more than people realize. A person who starts investing at 25 has a huge advantage over someone who starts at 40. Not because the younger person is smarter, because time does the heavy lifting. The earlier you start, the more years compounding has to work. And compounding loves time. Time is its fuel. Fourth, stay consistent. This is where most people fail. They start with excitement. Then they stop when the market gets weird. Or when life gets busy. Or when they think they need more money first. No, you do not need perfect conditions. You need consistency. Even small amounts matter. A small amount invested every month for many years can become something huge. That is the part people underestimate. They always ask, how much do I need? The better question is, how long can I stay consistent? Because time plus consistency beats intensity without discipline. Let's go back to the psychological side for a moment. One reason people love saving is because it feels moral. It feels like good behavior. You worked hard. You sacrificed. You were responsible. So your brain gives you a reward. It says, good job. You did the right thing. But investing does not feel that way. Investing feels like waiting. It feels passive. It feels like doing nothing. And people hate that. They want to feel effort. They want to feel control. They want to feel active. But wealth does not always come from effort, you can see. Sometimes wealth comes from money doing invisible work over time. That is hard for people to accept, because we are trained to believe that if we are not actively sweating, we are not being productive. That is not true. There is a big difference between working hard and building wealth. Working hard earns income. Building wealth makes income multiply. Those are different games. Most people only play the first one. That is why they stay stuck. Let me make another important point. Saving too much can also create a false sense of progress. You cut expenses. You stop enjoying life. You feel proud because your bank balance is growing. But if your savings are just sitting there, your progress is fake. It feels like growth, but it is not real growth. It is motion without momentum. That is why many people work for years and still feel financially trapped. They are disciplined, but not strategic. Hard work without a strategy is just exhaustion. Now, I want to be very clear. This does not mean you should stop saving. That would be stupid. You should absolutely save. You should absolutely build an emergency fund. You should absolutely live below your means. Those things matter. But saving is the floor, not the ceiling. It is the beginning, not the finish line. If you stop there, you are leaving the rest of the game untouched. And that is where most of the wealth gets built. Here is the simplest way to think about it. Saving is for protection. Investing is for growth. Saving keeps you from falling. Investing helps you climb. You need both. But if all you ever do is save, you will always be safe and still not rich. That is the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Because it is uncomfortable, it makes people question years of advice they have heard from parents, relatives, coworkers, and even some financial articles. But being uncomfortable does not make it false. It makes it useful. Now, let's talk about the biggest mistake people make after they finally decide to invest. They wait. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for the market to crash. They wait until they know more. They wait until they have more money. They wait until life feels stable, and the perfect time never comes.
Never. There is always a reason to delay. That is how fear wins. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you will stay stuck in the waiting room forever. The market does not care about your hesitation. Time keeps moving. Inflation keeps moving. And compounding only works when your money is actually in motion. So do not wait. Start. Not all at once. Not perfectly. Just start. Automatic investing helps a lot here. Because if you rely on motivation, you will fail. Motivation is unreliable. Some months you will feel excited. Some months you will feel lazy. Some months the news will scare you. Some months you will have extra bills. If investing depends on your mood, it will not last. So automate it. Set a system. Move money every month without having to think too hard about it. That removes emotion. And that is exactly what you want. Because emotional investing is bad investing. You want boring. Boring is good. Boring is how people build wealth quietly while everyone else is busy chasing excitement. Now let me give you the full picture. A savings account is not useless. It has a role. It is your safety buffer. It is your short-term protection. It is for emergencies. But after that, it should not be where all your extra money sits. Because once your safety is covered, your money should be assigned a job. Cash should protect. Investments should grow. If your money is sitting around doing nothing for years, that is not being careful. That is being inefficient. And inefficiency is expensive. Here is another way to look at it. Money in savings is like a seed in a jar. It is safe. It is protected. It will not get damaged, but it will not grow either. Money invested is like a seed in the ground. It faces weather. It faces risk. It faces uncertainty, but it has the chance to become something much bigger. And that is the difference between keeping money and growing money. One stays small, the other multiplies. So when people ask, why is saving money not enough? The answer is simple, because saving is defensive. Wealth building is offensive. Saving helps you survive. Investing helps you win. And if you never move beyond survival mode, you will spend your life working just to stay in place. That is not freedom. That is treadmill living. Now, I want to end this with something very important. Suresh was not a failure. Suresh was not lazy. Suresh was not irresponsible. He was doing what almost everyone told him to do. He was saving. He was being careful.
Saving money won't make you rich. It might actually keep you broke. That sounds wrong, I know. Because from the time we are young, we hear the same advice over and over again. Work hard. Spend less. Save the difference. It sounds responsible. It sounds mature. It sounds like the right thing to do. And saving money is important. But saving money alone is not enough. That is the part most people never learn. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Mike. Mike was the kind of person everyone would call disciplined. He never bought random things. He rarely ate out. He did not waste money on clothes. He skipped vacations. He drove the same old car for years. Every month he looked at what was left after his bills. And whatever he could save, he saved it. $200, $300, sometimes a little more. He did this for 20 years. 20 years. That is not a small thing. That is sacrifice. That is patience. That is discipline. And after 20 years, Mike had a decent savings account, enough to survive a few years without a job, maybe 3, maybe 4. And that was it. Not freedom, not wealth, not financial independence, just survival. Now let me tell you about his friend Alex. Alex earned almost the same salary, maybe a little less in some years, maybe a little more in others. But Alex lived differently. He still saved money. He was not reckless. He was not stupid. But Alex did one thing Mike did not do. Alex invested. And today, Alex does not need a job. So here's the real question. What did Alex understand that Mike did not? Why does saving harder not actually create wealth? Why does the advice everybody repeats sound correct, but still fail so many people? The answer is simple. Saving money protects money. Investing money grows money. And those are not the same thing. Most people never move past the first part. They think saving is the full strategy. It is not. Saving is just the starting point. It is the foundation. It is not the house. Here is the problem. Every year, prices go up. Groceries cost more. Rent goes up. Healthcare gets more expensive. School fees go up. Cars cost more. Travel costs more. Even small things cost more. That is inflation. And inflation is sneaky because you do not feel it all at once. You feel it slowly. A few dollars here, a few dollars there. Nothing dramatic, but over time it adds up. Now look at your savings account. A bank account may give you 2%, maybe 3%, maybe a little more in some places. Sounds fine, right? But inflation can be higher than that. So what happens? Your money looks like it is growing. The number goes up. But your buying power goes down. That means the money can buy less and less over time. So even though you feel safe, you are quietly losing ground. That is the first big lie people believe. They think cash sitting in the bank is wealth. It is not. It is only stored value. And stored value slowly erodes when inflation is beating it. Now let's talk about investing. This is where things get interesting. Imagine you have $100. You put it in a savings account. After 1 year, maybe you have $103. Fine. Now imagine you invest that same $100 in something that grows at a much higher rate over time. After 1 year, maybe it becomes $110. At first, that does not look like a huge difference. $7. Big deal, right? Wrong. Because the real power is not in year 1. The real power is in year 2. Now the $110 starts earning returns too, not just the original money. The gains also start growing. Then year 3, then year 4, then year 5. The money starts making money, and then that money makes more money. That is compounding. And compounding is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. It looks slow at first. That is why people dismiss it. They want big results quickly. But real wealth is not built quickly. It is built by time. Let me say that again. Real wealth is built by time. Not hype, not luck, not random hustle. Time. Here's a simple example. Person A saves $500 every month and keeps it in a low-interest savings account.